Hey Eugene, we actually have top 10 verdict.
Wow, top 10. Okay, come.
Yes, that every financial consultant is keen to know. Okay, first question.
Yeah, come.
Okay, so how can I start estate planning, right? If all my clients are single or young graduates and you tell me that estate planning is not valid or important.
Okay, now, so I get this question all the time, like if you have clients who are singles, right, then they always tell you, no need estate planning, and then you're like, okay, then what should I tell them? Actually, I would say that it's the opposite. Because they are singles and they are young, they don't have any spouse or children, and the only people that they leave behind basically would be the ones who are older than them, right? You think about it, it's like if you are in your 20s, you just graduated and you have no spouse and children, then you'll be your parents, correct? So you think about it, if let's say they are gone, if they pass away, okay, I always use gone, but actually if they die. So if they die, the parents would be the only ones left behind. So who will be the ones taking care of their parents? Right? You think about it, and that is why I always tell people who are singles, even young people, that actually instead of you thinking that estate planning is not important, right? Actually, estate planning is more important for you who are single and who are young because there's no one else left to take care of your parents. So that's why I always tell them. Very important for people who are single. So you got to turn the whole table around, turn the perspective around, and let them understand that they need to do something.
So another question that a financial consultant has is that, okay, he sees the importance of estate planning, but practically it doesn't really generate money, and we all need to survive, we got family to feed. That's why they will need to actually focus on their insurance business to bring the victim home. So what do you have to say for this?
Okay, now let me be honest, okay? In this video, I can be very honest. I was told, don't keep thinking about money. Now, I know advisors, you are in for commissions, and I'm for it, and I think that that's very important, right? You need to make a living out from a career. But if you're always thinking about money, you will lose sight on this thing called the value. And you think about it, if your clients have been asking you, okay, not you in the video, but if your clients have been talking to the financial advisor and say, hey, I want to ask you more about estate planning, that means that they have a need, right? And if they have a need, and you are still thinking about commission, then how do you ever survive in this career? So I need to scratch my head because I can't understand why people are keep looking at commissions. But I get it, okay? So I have actually a video. If you have not seen that video, tune into that video because I share more about that. But in this no holds bar Q&A with me, I just want to say one thing. You just have to buck up. I mean, if there's no ROI, no commissions coming from estate planning, but yet it helps your client, right? It helps you to bridge the gap, to put trust. Then you got to put up your socks. You got to do whatever it takes to work doubly hard so that you don't shortchange your client and you don't stop doing the important part of your business. So basically you get busier. But come on, we are all entrepreneurs, right? We are all self-employed. Hardworking and hard work will one day lead to high commissions. Yeah, so no shortcut to that. You just have to go by needs-based selling. Add value.
Wow, okay. Then one important question. Then which is the best group of clients to start estate planning with?
Okay, honestly, right, I wish to tell you that start estate planning with clients who have a lot of money, living in nice landed properties. I wish I can tell you that, okay? And I wish that I can also service all the ultra high net worth. But let me burst your bubble here. Not everyone has the luck and has the opportunity to meet somebody like that. I mean, you may have one or two clients who are a bit wealthier, but you also know that they will suss you out and they will make sure that you know your stuff before they release the business to you, okay? So, now, when you ask me that question, sorry, can you ask again? I forgot.
Which is the best group of clients to actually start estate planning with?
Best group of client. I would say that actually you should start with whoever you have. Okay? Whichever clientele that you are serving, as long as they have a need, as long as you can talk to them, they give you time, you should always talk to them. You see, estate planning is something very flicky, right? It's like, oh, who should I focus on? But I give you an example. You either speak estate planning and help your client who is probably in his 30s, right? Very friendly with you, talk to you, and open to listen to you. But he may not have that amount of wealth compared to someone who is probably his 60s, a lot of money, but not willing to listen you out. So is it your choice now? You tell me, is it your choice to choose clients or clients choose you? Okay, so one day you will reach a stage whereby you can choose your client. I hope so. But for now, just go and serve your clients and add tremendous value for them.
Okay, that's a good answer. So just go and serve and then you will reach there one day. So usually how many appointments will you take from the start to the end? Because we heard that it takes many sessions, it can be very draining.
Okay, true answer. Huh? Sometimes I want to vomit, okay, because some clients in estate planning, let me tell you, if you take, let's say, I don't know, 3-4 appointments for your financial planning as an advisor, for estate planning, if you want to do a good job, right, a good job from end to end, it will be at least 3 to 6 sessions. And 3 to 6 sessions is already extremely good if you are doing the full scope of estate planning services. So I would say, okay, I give you an answer that will not scare you. Okay, maybe about 5 sessions. But you need to be very purposeful in that 5 sessions. Means you need to set an agenda, what you want to achieve. You know why? Because estate planning is where they would like to talk to you about their son, their daughter-in-law, you know, I don't like the daughter-in-law, but I don't understand. If you don't like, then why still want to plan for a daughter-in-law, you know? Some people are just very weird. But anyway, you need to set agenda, like first session, what you want to achieve, second session, what you want to achieve, third session. So you give them a progress report. If not, every time they sit down, they want to talk to you about their in-laws, and I can tell you it's never ending, okay? So you also need to have a certain amount of control to make sure that every appointment is purposeful, set the time, set the objectives, and if you are lagging behind, tell the client that you need to speed up, you need to focus, get back to topic. So about 5, 6 will be good.
We have one question that is very common, most asked.
Okay.
So which do you recommend, estate planning firm or going to a law firm to get the documents done?
That's not part of the plan.
Yeah, hope she's okay. Sorry.
Just joking, no joking.
Take your time, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, one very common question. Which do you recommend, estate planning firm or going to a law firm to get the documents done? Which platform do you use?
Okay, now let me just be upfront. Estate planning firms, which you can hear of a few in the market right now, that work very closely with financial consultants, or law firms. My preference is when you are new to estate planning, just find one, whether it's an estate planning firm or whether it's a law firm, just find one and stick to it. So don't be double-minded whereby you have a few providers, look for this, and you start to compare, because you see, they are all different, okay? They are all strong in different things. So there's no point comparing, and I'll illustrate to you why later. So if you are new to estate planning, the last thing you want is it gets very, like, too many steps in remembering companies A, how to submit the process, companies B, how do you submit the process. Forget about it, alright? If you're very new, stick to one company, learn the deep down process of the how do you submit a case, how do you refer to them, and just do it well. But if, let's say, you are in estate planning for a while, you've been, meeting clients, you've been helping them with their wills, their trusts, then I would say perhaps having a few partners would be good. Let me illustrate to you. I had this client, right? I remember he called me, so the father was in the hospital. So very funny. So the father is in the hospital, and he was saying that, hey Eugene, can you actually prepare a will for my dad in the next 1 hour? So I'm like, I'm out shopping with my children, right? Then I'm like, oh no, your dad is like not going to make it. Then how? So you are shopping, but professionally you cannot just ignore him and say, okay, I can't do anything. It's just out of human lah. You need to do something, right? So what I did was that, I tried to check with one firm, and the firm told me that, for the express service, this is an estate planning firm, they will need to charge double in terms of pricing. And also, in order to do that, they can only turn around the fastest in 24 hours. But here, I have a client's father who is not going to make it going to go into a deep sleep in the next 1 hour. So, but the doctor had actually confirmed that he can actually sign, lucid enough to sign a will in the next 1 hour. I think they gave him some medication or what. So what I did was that, cannot, right? This firm cannot make it. So can you imagine if I'm stuck to just one firm, right? I mean, then I'm going to reject my client. So what I did was that I remembered calling up another partner that I work with, who is a law firm, a very nice person. So I actually called him and said he can actually rush down the will because the hospital was just in town. So he can actually rush down the will in an hour's time. And instead of charging double, he's just going to charge a small admin fee for making a trip there because he really doesn't mind to do that in terms of express service. So you know what? In the end, I got him to go down within about an hour. He settled the will. Of course, he got all the instructions and the client was so happy. But of course, you know, law firms, they can't pay commission, right? That's why I always say, don't think about just commission. Go and add value first. So after that, of course, the debt passed on after that. But it was still shared between friends today. You know, my client actually will share that I managed to do it for him. So you see, it's very important, you know, when you think about where to use and all that, sometimes you must also think from the client's perspective, right? Because different platforms will give different benefits and different pros. At the end of the day, you just have to meet a need, which is your clients. Yeah.
Wow, thanks for sharing this.
Maybe can I ask something?
Yeah.
What phone is that? 1 hour, wow, that's really fast.
Okay, that is actually one of the, which firm? This is one of my initial days when I started. I worked with this lawyer and he's still like a 1-2-man show kind of thing, but he's very dedicated lah, you know, he will do it because he finds passion in that. But over time, why did I go with like estate planning firms in the market? Because you know, he doesn't have a proper structure. I think most of you will know if you want to learn estate planning, you need a firm with a proper structure, with proper training. He doesn't have. He's like, you have a will, you just pass to me. I got nothing to teach you. So of course, that's why I always say different firms would have different benefits, right? You just have to have, after you work for a few years, have choices and basically be there for your client when needed. Yeah.
Okay, the next one is a very burning question for financial.
Wow, burning. Okay. I'm ready. Come.
So they are usually from insurance company, right? Then now suddenly if they go back to their client and tell them that I'm an estate planner, the client will definitely look into their eyes and is like, huh, what do you mean? So how do they counter this?
Okay, yeah, this question I also always get like you. Let's say you are a financial consultant, right? Then after learning estate planning, you tell your client that you are now an estate planner. You want to write their wills and you want to advise them. Okay, it's true. But you think about it, right? Okay, I always say this. Your clients see you as somebody doing insurance, doing retirement planning, basically planning their finances, alright? And now you suddenly come in and say you are an estate planner. You think about it. If you are coming in to tell them that you have evolved and you have went through training, you have upgraded, and you can also now help them in the wealth distribution aspect, why would a logical client think that is weird? Because they would be happy and they'll be celebrating that you are upgrading to serve them, right? You think about it. So, you know, I think as consultants, we need to change our mindset. Sometimes clients don't really think that much. Is we think too much. Okay, that's the point. But that is only half the story. The other half, what I want to say is that from now onwards, because what's past is past. But from now onwards, you tell your new prospects or your new clients what you can potentially do for them. So not just your wealth protection, i.e. insurance, wealth accumulation, i.e. retirement planning. You can also take care of their wealth distribution. So now you start to plant a seed from all your clients so that when you talk about estate planning, they know that you can.
Great advice for all of them out there. But one thing though, I seldom hear you talking about AMD. Is it part of estate planning as well? Okay,
AMD. You know, AMD is a very, very funny creature. You know why? Because AMD, okay, take note, AMD is not your ACP, Advanced Care Planning. Is different from your medical directive. Okay, your AMD, Advanced Medical Directive. Basically, AMD stands for you making a decision to tell your doctors not to sustain you when you are in your terminal stage. In other words, maybe you are like lying there, your family member is praying for a miracle, or your family member wants to speak to you or do something to make sure that you can hear them or whatever, right? So you are making a pre-made decision now to ask the doctors to stop any sustaining treatment for your life. Now, this is something I seldom talk about. In fact, I hardly talk about. You know why? Because it is like so cruel, right? Like imagine this kind of decisions to do an AMD should be done and decided by the client's family members. How can it be you as a financial consultant and estate planner, right? Tell the client that, hey, I think you should do this, don't sustain your life, and let's do the form. Let me do everything for you, complete for you. I would never do that, because when things really happen, the family member would actually question like, why would you do such a form for my family member? And I think it gets very ugly. You see, writing a will, doing your lasting power of attorney, doing your advanced care planning, these are good things, like you should plan. But asking and urging the client to stop any sustaining treatment, I don't think it's our duty to do that, you know. So let's not go that direction. That's my humble 2 cents worth, okay? But if let's say the client says that I'm very clear, I definitely want it, then remember, needs-based selling, what I'll do is that I will tell him or her that where to download the form, how to do it, you just go and do it on your own. That's what I'll do.
Okay, so I remind you to the earlier question of them being a financial consultant, then they tell their client that they do estate planning, right? So right now, if let's say they were to prospect via estate planning route, then subsequently, how can they explain that they are from an insurance background? You know, because client will then deem them as estate planner already. Then suddenly you are an insurance agent.
Okay, now, so there are 2 things to that, okay? If you are going in via the estate planning route to prospect, okay, and then you got the client in, you got to do a will, and the question is that how do you tell them that you are now also a financial consultant? Actually, my take is this: if you can, always tell them upfront. Don't keep them in the lurch and keep them in the dark, and then after you do everything, then say, hey, by the way, I'm also a financial consultant. Because if you do that, it betrays the trust, you know. It's like, oh, now that you tell me you are this. I mean, your clients are not stupid, okay? But if clients are that stupid, you may not want to prospect them also in the first place, right? So you want clients who are smart to be able to plan for them. So I would say that I would always encourage you to present yourself well. You say that you're an estate planner, but at the same time, you also represent this particular ABC insurance company, and you can do both. Not every consultant can do both, but you are different, you can do both. So, you know what, be proud of your profession. Don't be hush and hide it at the back. Then after a few weeks, then you tell this client. So you will face the problem. So that's my take. Always tell them upfront. Don't hush. Be proud about it. Be proud and tell them that you are very different.
Okay, thank you. Hope the question is not too hard so far. Last 2 questions.
Last 2, okay.
And then we can let you off, okay?
I heard there are 100 questions, but I'm going to take 10 only today, okay?
Yeah, we just select the top 10.
Yeah, top 10.
Okay, so we have heard that you have personally set up more than 200 trusts today. That's a lot. So how do you sell the idea of a trust? Because most of the people that financial consultants spoke to always say that it's very expensive.
Okay, now, first and foremost, right, we live in, we are here in Singapore, but if you're watching elsewhere, most of the time is Asian, okay? Hard facts, you know that Asians are actually very stingy people. Yeah, you and me, we are all stingy, okay? Compared to the Westerners, we are, in relative, we are more stingy. But the thing about another flip side is that, but we actually, Asians, preserve family harmony. So to us, family is something that we hold very dear to our hearts, okay? But yet at the same time, we know that Asians are stingy. So can you imagine you tell your client or your prospective client that your trust costs a few $1,000s. First thing first, they will fall off their chairs and they will not proceed. That is true because we are all Asians. So what I'll do is that I'll usually not go in and upfront and put the price tag on the table and say, this is the cost of a trust. I will not do that because you are not solving a problem, but you are telling them that this is the price to pay even before showing them the problem. So what I'll do, I will usually go in via a typical simple will planning. Okay, a simple will, and people are very comfortable with writing a will, right? So they know it's important and they know it's a couple $100. So I'll tell them about will, but through the process, then it is your job to uncover, what I call the blind spots, areas that they didn't think about. You need to help them in certain areas, get them to think through what if this happens, all the different scenarios. And then after that, you paint them all these things. Then they were like, oh yeah, that's true, I never thought about that. Then the problem will intensify. Okay, but not purposely say that, it's really helping them, okay? Then after that, they realize that perhaps a will may not be the best solution, or a will can't really help them. Then you tell them of the second option. There is also this thing called a trust, which definitely provides more protection, more flexibility, and so on and so forth, okay? Then they will start to have this perception, or maybe a trust may make more sense. Then I will enter from there. Okay, so that's how I'll do that. So enter from a will first, and slowly add tons of value, give them the problem, show them the value, then bring in the concept of an alternative, which is trust. Because remember, even though Asians are stingy, right? Okay, you and I, we are stingy people, but you know what? We hold family dear to our hearts, right? So when you talk about estate planning, which you are planning for family, people who really see your point and see your proposal, they will be more inclined to spend, because they are spending not just for themselves, but they are spending for the family who are close to them, who they will leave behind when they go one day. So yeah, so that's how I will do that. But of course, 200 over trust is over the last 10 years now.
Okay, so now you all know the secret recipe to Eugene's closing, yeah? You all can learn it.
It's not secret recipe, it's just a process. That's why I always say the process is very important.
Okay, so last question, which is the one that all financial consultants want to know. What is the easiest way to integrate financial planning after estate planning?
What is the easiest way to integrate what again?
Financial planning.
Financial planning with...
After they help their clients with estate planning.
Okay, this question, right, is $1 million question, because for all of you listening who are financial consultants, you know that estate planning is really a door opener, right, to help add value, but ultimately you get paid commissions through financial planning. So let's put it this way, okay, Today, if you have a client, a prospective client that comes to you and you're doing estate planning, what I'll always do, okay, this is call it a tip for you. You must always explain to the client that your role as an estate planner, as a financial consultant, is that you marry the two together. Okay, not many people can marry these two together. So what you do is that you must be able to explain to them that in the course of planning, if there are any gaps or if there are any opportunities for you to add value using your solutions, which is your insurance solutions, you will tell them in due time. But if there is no need for insurance planning or retirement planning in the course of estate planning, you will also tell them that they do not need. So the secret recipe is to plant a seed from the start. Because if you plant a seed from the start, and then imagine in the third session, you tell them that, hey, you need this, you need that, it will be easier to solo rather than you suddenly whip out an insurance plan and say, hey, you know what, you interested in this now. So plant a seed from the start, and I'll always drop little reminders and say, hey, I'm not sure whether you need that, but let's see, for financial planning services, you may need this to boost up your coverage, you may need this for that, but let's see whether you need it. I will always tell them whether you need it. Not too sure, let's see how it goes. Yeah, so I think it's about making a constant effort to inform them beforehand. Alright, then you just marry them together. But of course, it doesn't mean that every case you can put two together. Even for me, not every case I can bring insurance in. Not every case. Yeah, so you just have to work and perfect your craft. And sometimes if you never sell any insurance because they don't need it, then they don't need it, right? I mean, we always talk about giving your best advice to your best client. Yeah.
Okay, that's all the questions I have for you today.
Okay, Ken. So we covered 10. If you want a scoop of all this behind the scenes about estate planning, about my practice and how I do that, leave a comment below, okay? You can also directly leave the questions that you have been always wanting to ask. And let's see, when we have enough questions, we will do another episode, alright? See you then.